Lord Roberts requests, what is in a name? Hello YouTubers, my name is Stephen Cotton and I am the owner of the Fowler B5 road locomotive 8903 called Lord Roberts, which was built in 1900 and is featured on this channel. Names change over time, and at some point in history a particular naming is lost. I was reminded of this when I recently received a very interesting blog from the Market Lavington Museum. The name of the Wiltshire village of Market Lavington, where Lord Roberts began her working life, appeared on Ordnance Survey maps from about 1900 or even earlier. But around 1770, the village was named East Lavington. Even earlier, back at the time of the Domesday Book of 1086, it was called Lavingtone. In 1242 and 1255, it was called Stupel Lavington and Steeple Lavington, which may come from the Old English steeple or church steeple. In 1316, the word starple was used, meaning market. In a 1412 document, the village was called Chepping Lavington. The Old English Chepping meant market. In 1460, it was known as Lavington Forum, from the Roman word for a marketplace. So what could be behind the name of Lord Roberts? In the 1960s, Fowler 8903 was named Lord Roberts by its then owner, Tom Paisley of Holywell near St Ives in Huntingdonshire. It is not completely certain why this was, but it is rumoured he had a distant relative of this very famous, highly decorated and preeminent general officer in the British Army between 1880 and 1910. Lord Roberts lived between 1832 and 1914, and on his death his name was strictly speaking Field Marshal Earl Roberts of Kandahar and Pretoria. This was at the time often abbreviated to Lord, hence the more well-known name of Lord Roberts. Roberts was born in India and died in France. He served as Commander-in-Chief in India for 8 years between 1885 and 1893, and was Commander-in-Chief of the whole British Army between 1901 and 1904. He saw action often and fought in places such as India, Afghanistan and South Africa. The list of Lord Roberts' decorations is long. He was one of Britain's most important military figures of his time, so much so he was honoured with his own oversized sculpture mounted on his horse in Life Guards Parade. It still stands there today. Lord Roberts was a popular public figure. Pottery figures, dinner plates and other bric-a-brac were made to commemorate his life and military successes. Perhaps more importantly, he was beloved by the British Army and the other ranks, the common soldiers serving under him. He was known by them affectionately as Bobs. Even Rudyard Kipling versed a poem about him, which was first published in the Pall Mall Gazette in December 1893. The first of 8 verses reads, "There's a little red-faced man which is Bobs, rides the tallest horse he can, our Bobs. If it bucks or kicks or rears, he can sit for 20 years, with a smile round both his ears, can't you, Bobs?" Given the age and overpowering size of Fowler 8903, it would not have been unusual for her to have been called Lord Roberts, or something similar. The use of such names during the years around the First World War invoked innate patriotism and stoicism and was a boost to morale at home. She, however, did not have this name to start with. Earlier photographs of the engine, before she was owned by Tom Paisley, show a different type of nameplate on the motion covers, one that is much larger than the existing. but unfortunately it is not possible to decipher the letters. Does anyone have an idea what may have been written on them? My best guess would be the name of the Market Lavington Brick and Tile Works, or possibly her owner's name, Holloway Brothers up until 1921, or W. Chivers until 1935. In other words, no specific name. In passing, Tom Paisley of Holywell, as well as the head of a Scottish clan from 1946, with a lineage which dated back to the early 1300s, had the full name of Thomas B. Paisley of Westerly, the B standing for Brownlee. But that is another story for another time. If you are able to shed any light on this request, I will be very pleased to hear from you. My email contact details are shown at the end. Thank you for watching, and let's meet up again when we will talk about another story connected to this engine. If you wish to be kept informed, please subscribe free to this channel.